What's good, everybody? It's BBK Dragoon coming at you today with 3 words to help you win more of your solo matches in Destiny: team shot, angles, and positioning, or tap. It's a really easy way to remember it. Just think tap, like you would tap somebody with a shot from your hand cannon. I want to focus on the solo side of things because right now I'm definitely playing more solo PvP just because it's kind of content droughty right now. A lot of my friends are off playing different games, including myself. I've been I built a PC a week and a half ago, so I've been playing over there, and this is my first game back, so my accuracy is pretty gross, but I remembered tap. I focused heavily on my team shooting, getting advantageous angles on the enemy, and the positioning, not overextending. So let's open with the team shot. It's exactly what it sounds like. You want to put yourself in a position that you can help your teammates clean up the kills that they start, and you also want to be in a position where if you're getting pushed heavily, you can fall back to the support of your teammates. And you can completely do this, yes, in solo games without communication. It just comes down to good awareness and good map positioning. You don't want to be the lone wolf who's continually on their own, because that leads to too many situations where you die and no one's there to help clean up the kill. Listen, look, make a decision. If you hear a gunfight going on, that's between one of your teammates and one of the enemies. And if you're in the right place at the right time, you can help your teammate finish off that kill faster and let things snowball. I try and picture it like one giant shield. Imagine if all 6 players shared one really big shield. And if one player is off on their own lone wolfing it, well, 1/6 of your shield is gone. That player is off doing their own thing. They're not there to help clean up kills, nor are they there to create this giant mega shield. That's a really easy visualization that basically personifies the idea we're getting at. If you can be in a spot that helps out your teammates, and that just involves listening, looking around, and paying attention, then it can help transform your KD and hopefully your win-loss through solo games. I'm not going to say you're going to win everything, because solo queue can sometimes be pretty brutal in this game, but it will definitely help. You don't have to follow your teammates also into really terrible spots, but try and use them as help. Angles. Getting advantageous angles essentially means that it's easier for you to shoot at your enemy than it is for them to shoot at you. How does this come? Well, a lot of it's map knowledge. And in combination with map knowledge, game type knowledge. So we're here on Bannerfall playing Control. A really good sight line if you want to control the B point is over at Mohawk, because you can shoot up at the B point, and it makes it really hard for anybody who's trying to take that or defend that existing point. And the Mohawk is the kind of planter thing outside near low heavy. But it has its weakness, right? If somebody were to come low heavy and flank you, you have no easy escape routes and no big cover. You have to run like 25 feet back towards your spawn in order to get any significant cover. A good angle is one where it's easier for you to shoot at your enemy than it is for him to shoot at you. It would have multiple escape routes, whether that's just an easy fleeing path or a great wall or piece of cover you can hide behind. And height. Height is king. It's way easier to shoot down at an enemy than it is for them to shoot up at you. That's kind of a universal first-person shooter trope. And just basically means, like, you have all the cover in the world. If you're above the enemy, you just walk backwards and the floor becomes your cover. Now, a good angle is something that is easier to find when you think of the last word in the tap phrase, and that is positioning. Positioning is all about where you are on the map and thinking very consciously, where are my teammates in relationship to me. Overextending is maybe one of the biggest killers of solo play. If you go too deep and overextend and cause a spawn flip, that can absolutely destroy any sort of map control that you had and can really end a lot of matches. Let's see, I think I get the Sunbreaker here. But just like right at the last second. Also, take a look at the clock. Something that's really helpful if you're doing solo 6v6 game types is saving your super to try and deny the heavy. Now that's just a little bit away and we'll see how it plays out, but just keep that in the back of your mind. Now, overextending can lead to what happens right here, the spawn flips. One of our teammates pushed up really, really far, or one of the enemies pushed up really, really far, and caused the spawns to flip. The reason you only ever want to hold 2 points in control is so that you can consistently keep the enemy spawning in one particular place, on one particular side of the map. Think about it like a big dam that's holding back water. If the dam has a crack in it, the water's going to get behind the dam, and at that point, it's really, really hard to control the action of what's going on. So here we are, we're coming up on the 7-minute mark. I've saved my super. I'm trying to be in a position where I can get a safe throw and try and deny their pull. In solo matches, this can win games. Just consciously remember in the back of your head, 7 minutes, I want to try and have my super ready and be near enough to a heavy spawn so that I can try and deny the enemy. So here we are, they have C and B, and we have A. Notice how I walked in and I walked back. This was me mentally saying, I don't want to overextend, they're going to be spawning C. Lo and behold, look, there's 3 enemies right there, all spawning C. Overextending is pretty obvious if you start thinking about it in your matches. If you're all alone and you're way deep in their territory, you might be overextending. Think about it like this. In football terms, US football, if you're at the 50-yard line, you're not really influencing the spawns that heavily and you're probably not going to flip. But if you start pushing into their 40 and their 30, the game at that point is going to go, this is no longer a safe area for me to spawn enemies. I'm going to put those enemies in secondary spawns, or I'm just going to flip it altogether. Try to not let that happen. It can doom your team and it can be really hard to come back from that point. The last thing that I want to mention here is play the objective. If you're coming into the control game type, be a player who's willing to go for that objective relentlessly. Now, you don't want to die over and over again. In control, you want to slay before you go for the cap point. If all you do is just charge over and over and over again towards B, you get on B, you don't get any kills, and you get killed, you're not doing your team any help. You have to do a bit of slaying before you get on that point, but there's a term in Battlefield called PTFO, and that means play the objective, with just a little bit spicier language thrown in. That community understands if you're not on the points helping capture and control, then you're not helping your team out. They don't care what your KD is or how sick your giant streak is rolling. If you didn't help play the objective and the team lost, then it's a loss. We didn't play the game correct. Oh, what a panic Nova Bomb. That was terrible. When you're soloing, you need to make your supers count. Don't ever throw away supers like that. Save them for guaranteed objective-based plays where you can get picks on the enemy or you can try and shut down a capture like over on B. Now, if you're playing Control or Rift or Supremacy or even Trials, your goal is to focus on the objective. It is about winning. You don't have to have an outrageous KD, but you need to be a team player who helps finish kills or support in team shotting, and be someone who'll dive onto the point with your teammates and get that quick cap so you can secure a little bit of momentum. If it's Clash, whatever, you get to just go straight for the kills. That's the game type that you're playing. I recently had a friend who solo queued all the way to Grandmaster in Overwatch, and he did the whole thing on YouTube. His name is Edge, and when he completed the series, I asked him, what are the main things that you learned throughout this process? Because getting to Grandmaster in Overwatch, man, that's a pretty big deal. All solo queue games, all on YouTube, that's cool. What did you learn? And almost all of it came down to attitude. You are going to have teammates who are bad, who leave, who create an unwinnable circumstance for you. No matter how well you play, there are going to be games that you just lose because it's out of your control. But you need to remember there are other players on the enemy team who experience the exact same thing. You as the player can overcome that. Understand that the other team doesn't have you on their team. If you really are someone who's strong with X-Gun or, this style of player, this super, and you offer your team a benefit, work to those strengths. Look at that crazy spawn flip. Spawned right there and then immediately back behind me. So we have weird spawn flippingness going down. I'm immediately trying to fall back to CB so that I don't flip it any further because that's just not the spot that I want to be in. Remaining positive and not tilting and not letting your teammates tilt. That's kind of hard on console Destiny because not everybody has a headset, and I rarely ever dive into the public chat. It's just not something that seems very fun. But just being there and helping out on B and being in a position where you help secure kills, that empowers your teammates with confidence. And it also empowers you because when you start working together and the flow happens, Destiny snowballs out of control. One super leads to another, which leads to more orbs, and things can basically get put on cruise control. So that's what I have to say about tap. Team shot, angles, positioning. Keep a positive attitude, and you can have a lot of fun with Destiny solo PvP. Sorry if my voice sounded a little bit weird in this video. I got a little sick here lately. But if you enjoyed this video, please let me know with a like. If you found it helpful, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if I missed anything that you think is important, let me know down in the comments. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time, Guardians.